All right, so you know those true crime cases that, like, at first glance, they seem pretty open and shut.
Mm-hmm.
But then the more you kind of dig into them,
Yeah.
the more you find out,
Yeah.
the more complicated they get.
Exactly.
It's exactly what we're doing today.
Okay.
We're diving into the case of Mica Miller.
Right.
And you might have heard about this case.
I think I have.
She was a seemingly happy wife,
Okay.
active in her church,
Uh-huh.
found dead in a state park.
Oh, wow.
Her husband,
Yeah.
who was a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
claimed that it was a suicide.
Oh.
But a lot of people just aren't buying it.
Really?
So we're going to take a look at all the details today from a 5-minute murder episode
Mm-hmm.
and really try to unpack all the different layers
Gotcha.
to this case.
Yeah.
Kind of try to figure out
Right.
what makes it so perplexing.
Yeah, these cases are always so interesting because it's like
Yeah.
they really hinge on public perception a lot of the time.
Hey.
And it's like, how much do we really know
Right.
about the people around us?
Yeah.
Mica and her husband,
Yeah.
Pastor John Paul Miller.
Right.
They were like pillars of their community.
Oh, really?
Yeah, down there at Solid Rock at Market Common
Where's that?
in Myrtle Beach,
Oh, okay.
South Carolina.
Gotcha.
And, you know, everyone thought that they had this like
Yeah.
perfect life.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, sometimes those perfect images
Yeah.
can actually hide something a lot darker.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so often, yeah,
Yeah.
the things that we see on the surface
Yeah.
are very different from what's going on underneath.
Right.
And that's kind of what makes this so interesting because,
exactly.
you know, they had this picture-perfect image,
Yeah.
but then boom, weeks before her death,
Oh, wow.
court records show that Mica filed for divorce.
Oh, really?
And in those documents,
Mm-hmm.
she cited abuse.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden friends and family
Yeah.
are coming forward and they're saying, you know what, we weren't that surprised because we had seen the signs.
Oh, wow.
You know, they'd seen signs of fear from her. They'd heard whispers of harassment.
Oh, no.
And it really just makes you wonder, like, how much did the community miss?
Oh, that's a great question. And that's the thing with these types of cases, right?
Yeah.
Is that abuse is very often shrouded in secrecy,
Mhm.
especially within these like tight-knit communities.
Yeah.
So there can be a lot of pressure to keep up a facade,
Sure.
to protect the reputation of the family,
Mhm.
the church,
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, it's kind of easy to see how people were maybe so quick to just accept
Oh, yeah.
that suicide narrative.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, initially, you know, when Mica was found with a gunshot wound in Lumber River State Park
Mm-hmm.
back in April of 2024,
Right.
a lot of people just believed her husband.
Oh, wow.
They just took his word for it. But then, as the story started to unfold,
Yeah.
more details came out.
Right.
And things started to get really murky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we learned about this chilling 911 call
Oh, wow.
that Mica made moments before her death.
Mm-hmm.
And she was asking if her phone could be used to locate her body.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so if she was planning suicide,
Right.
why would she even bother making that call?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a huge red flag.
Yeah, it raises the possibility that she knew something was going to happen and she was trying to leave a trail
Yeah.
so that people would know where to find her.
Right.
It could also be a sign that she was acting under duress,
Uh-huh.
trying to signal for help without like explicitly coming out and saying that she was in danger.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, it's just a super strange thing to do if you're planning on taking your own life.
Exactly. And it's not even just the 911 call.
Right.
Like, there were also reports
Uh-huh.
of Mica's tires being slashed.
What?
Yeah, my gosh. And they found a tracking device on her car.
Wow.
So these are like classic signs of escalating harassment.
Mm-hmm.
So while the Robeson County Sheriff's Office initially ruled her death a suicide
Right.
based on the medical examiner's report,
Yeah.
the public outcry
Yeah.
for a deeper investigation just started to grow and grow.
Oh.
People were putting all these pieces together, connecting the dots,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't adding up.
Wow. So what happened?
Well, that public pressure,
Yeah.
especially, you know, amplified by online groups,
Right.
social media, all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it eventually led to the FBI
Oh, wow.
getting involved months later.
That's huge.
Yeah. And, you know, that's not typical in a straightforward suicide case.
No, not at all.
The FBI usually steps in
Yeah.
when there's suspicion of foul play
Uh-huh.
that crosses state lines,
Mm.
or when there are just complexities that local authorities can't handle.
Right.
So the fact that the FBI got involved suggests that there was something that warranted a closer look.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like they thought there was something more to this case.
Right. And it's interesting, too, because it's almost like the community itself became part of the investigation.
Right.
And, by speaking out and demanding answers, they forced authorities to take a second look.
Wow. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And it's also created this huge divide, in the community.
Yeah.
Because you've got people who still support the pastor.
Right.
And then you've got people who are demanding justice for Mica.
Wow. What do you think it is about these cases that causes such strong reactions from people?
I think a lot of it has to do with that human element. People have this need to search for explanations, to find someone to blame.
Right.
And in a case like this, where you've got so many conflicting narratives and really deep-seated emotions, it becomes really difficult to separate fact from fiction.
Right. It's hard to know what to believe.
Exactly. And so people end up aligning themselves with whichever narrative resonates most with their own beliefs and experiences.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
So here we are, left with more questions than answers.
Right.
What truly happened to Mica Miller?
Yeah.
Was it a tragic suicide? Or was there something more sinister at play?
Right.
And will justice prevail despite these conflicting accounts and the passage of time?
That's a great question. And I think it's a really good reminder that
things
are very rarely black and white.
Right.
And this case really challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question our assumptions, and to remember that, everyone has a story, even those who are no longer here to tell it.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today's deep dive.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. And, as we always say, keep those critical thinking skills sharp. And maybe ask yourself, what would you do if you were faced with a similar situation in your community?
Yeah, that's a good one.
How can we all be more aware?
Right.
More supportive? And, really ensure that voices aren't silenced.
That's so important.
All right, that's it.
Okay, great. Key.
Bye.